Appreciate it. All right, welcome back.
No, just got you.
Well, excuse me. Welcome back to the brand new video of the Target Radio program, Target Radio Experience. All right, so when I talk about the manipulation of the transit payment system, you manipulating those machines so that it won't, accept my card. So about the other night, it did the same thing too. And it just so happened to have another Metro card on me, right? That I said I have one from my daughter's school in the parents' student meeting that I went to with her. But I ended up giving that card to my son because he lost his ID. Not his ID, he lost his wallet, in the house somewhere. So I got to go look for it. So I ended up giving him that card, which is a 30-day unlimited card. Right? And now, today, taking the bus, they did the exact same thing. Because, the card worked fine yesterday. Right? You know what I'm saying? It worked fine yesterday, no problem. Coming and going. Today, like I said, I know I have money on the card. I have your credit department using this iris. I said, I know I have money on the card. Yeah, I know I have money on the card. Listen, one of the things I need to try to do is try to, because what they do, it affects our memory, right? So they try to gaslight us because they know what it is that they do, that we have, our memory is pretty much destroyed. Not totally though, but it's pretty much just some things you remember, most things you don't. Then also I'm listening to Bob Marley again. I talk about how they send a subliminal message. So I'm listening to Africa Unite, right? And he goes, unite for the benefit of your people, and they start using the sirens. You know what I'm saying? So again, we're talking about black people unifying, uniting. They don't want that because they know we'll be a powerful, unstoppable force. So to keep us separated and keep us, fighting against each other, particularly using religion, is their biggest benefit. It's not our benefit. Religion don't benefit us. Religion benefits them. But we fail to understand and realize that because we've been brought up in it, we've been indoctrinated with it, we've been brainwashed with it. So even when when we suffer the most, I should say the second most, because what they've done to the Native Americans is an atrocity in itself. But, we're talking about basically the genocide of Native American people, which include black people. So, I'll retract that and say, yeah, we suffer the most as black people, right? So to be unified in one as a people and put who we are as black people first is, instead of putting religion first, which is what all other groups do, they put themselves first before they put their religion first. All right? And they turn the music up. That's what they do. But yeah, this is what they'll do. They send these subliminal messages about, and again, I talk about who they target within the society. Your very own people will be like, well, what makes you so important? Well, obviously, somebody's important because the way they keep targeting us like that, right? And that's our part of the fact that we don't see each other, as value, right? We see the things that we wear, the cars that we drive, the house that we live in. We see that as more valuable than who we are as a people and as human beings. But I don't think like that. You know what I'm saying? I see black people I see us more valuable than any material thing that you and I can obtain. And that's the difference. And we have to start thinking like that. We have to start thinking like that, right? So when the racists on the New York Credit Department want to use their sirens whenever I'm listening to something or I talk about unity, it just shows you what their true agenda is, right? And it tells me what their true agenda. I already knew what their true agenda is, right? It's to discredit, delete, assassinate, the people in the black community that they consider to be a threat, not a threat to public safety, but a threat to white supremacy, right? The person who can unite black people. But money, as Bob Marley said, you know, whenever you gotta get some food, your brother gotta be an enemy, right? Using political tactics and strategies to manipulate us, right? This is what they do. And we fall for it. Why? Because, you know, whenever you traumatize the people within the society, they become very easy to manipulate, right? Then you keep them as believers, then, you know, and they understand the way how the human mind works, right? In terms of a coping mechanism that the brain creates within that person or group of people. They understand that. You and I don't. Well, I do, but most people don't. Most people have no idea, no clue. And all you got to do is just read. Go listen to R.K. Simmons. He has a YouTube channel, right? The guy that wrote Wolf in Sheep Clothing. You go listen to what's his name? Chase Hughes, right? An ex-CIA agent that specializes in psychological manipulation. His videos are very informative. Go look at Darren Brown. He's a mentalist, right? Who shows you how, you know, you can be easily manipulated, right? You know what I'm saying? Go look at cults. All right. There's the Center for Cult Studies, right? That study cult leaders and their followers and how people are selected into being cult, making them believe that they're joining a cult. You don't join a cult. The cult manipulates you into accepting you as a member, right? Not the other way around. So there's a lot of shit that we need to understand. Psychological conditioning, psychological programming. Go and read the declassified documents of MK Ultra and what it is the U.S. government was trying to achieve. Go and read about Dr. Jose Delgado, Dr. Robert Heath, and they quest, and there are other doctors too, and they quest to what? To control the human mind, to find drugs to do what? To control the human mind, to manipulate the human mind. You know, we tend to, you know, bow our head, not bow our head, but we tend to look up in the sky for some savior or some God in the sky you think is running everything, but no. God ain't running your life. You know who's running your life? The U.S. government is running your life. Go read about the CIA, right? And how all over the globe they have caused instability in nations, assassinated leaders, right? Create a population dependent on drugs. Go read about what they did in China. Go read about what they did in Afghanistan, South America, the black community, right? This is what they do. And YouTube do not give me any copyright strike on my video. That's not me playing this music. I'm standing in for the bus, and you know that's just somebody, again, who is playing music loud like that. All right, not me. So yeah. But this is what they do. This is what they do. Right? And the sad thing about Negropeans gonna learn a hard lesson. The Negropeans gonna learn a hard lesson. But they don't care about their children. When I talk about how they don't love their children, that's exactly what I'm talking about. They don't love their children because they don't teach their children anything. They leave it up to the school. Right? And then, you know, when their kids are failing, then they blame the teachers. No, but we as parents, we are also responsible, right? As much as I try with my children and their mother, I always hold her accountable. I tell her all the time. I say, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, how can I come and help them with their homework if they're tired all the damn time? You know, and then they get happy. The mothers will get happy because, you know, the school will just pass their children, right? Not based on academics, but based on age, right? Oh, the New York Furniture Department, or the traffic division. Oh, yeah, that's the traffic division, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's why, like I said, with fathers, they understand how important fathers is, and what they've done is that they've gotten women to not understand how important fathers are. That they would rather struggle, right, talking about they don't need a man and how they're single and they're single mom, but then they complain. Right? And then when the father steps in and he's trying to discipline the children or the child, what do they do? Oh, if you're over by your father and he says something to you that you don't like, you can call me and I'll come get you. Or they'll tell them, yeah, oh, your father's not home. Where did he go? Never mind there's other adults in the house. Oh, well, what time is it? It's minutes to 1. You need to get on that train and travel, a whole 2 boroughs to come home. Like I said, I don't just say what I say. I say what I say also because I experience it. When you have mothers telling their young sons to get on a train at minutes to 1 at night to go all the way to travel through 2 boroughs to get home. That a mother would tell her 15, no, was it? How old was he? He was 14 years old, 14-year-old child, because I wasn't home. You know what I'm saying? Listen, man. I mean, this shit is hilarious, right? But during the summertime, when she wants to go do her thing, she don't care whether, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, once in the summertime, and this was in the summertime too, like I said, in the summertime when I have the children, they were with me at that time. I think was Alyssa? Yeah, Alyssa was born, right? And that's the reason why I was not home that night, because we had all but we went to the pool. Again, he had his little attitude and what have you. So I had to drop the other 2 kids off, and because he just left, he went home to my house. So when I called, my sister said he's home. I said, okay, fine. I'll deal with him in the morning, because I think she said he was sleeping, something like that. No, she said she was sleeping, but she was like he was home, right? So when I think I had called around, or she called me like around minutes to 1, and she said to me, do you know that Bryce just left? I said, what do you mean he just left? I said, well, what time is it? It's minutes to 1. She was like, his mother told him to leave. And I said, now you let him walk out the house like that? And that's another thing. Like, you as an adult, you're his aunt. Why would you let a 14-year-old walk out of the house at 12:40 something a.m. in the morning to go, to travel 2 bars together? Which, again, this is what these women do. This is their mindset. Because what? They don't teach their children anything. They raise their children as their friend, not as parents, but as a friend. Particularly their daughters. Right? They raise them as friends. Right? No. Like I tell myself all the time, I said, listen, I'm not your friend, I'm your father. Okay? When you become an adult, then we can be friends. Right? You know what I'm saying? But as a child, I ain't your friend, I'm your father. I may have some friendly conversations with you, right? But you're going to show me that respect, and I'm going to teach you what you need to know, so that as you get older, you'll make better decisions and you'll be a better person. But this is not what they want for our community and our children. And we fail to understand that. On fixation. Right? And we fail to understand it. This is why you have young black males who are what? Right? Who don't have no respect, who don't show no respect, right? Who don't know anything, and they'll tell you they know, but they don't. Because the idea of saying I don't know something is, it's really something that they don't quite understand, right? So they've been blocked into admitting, hey, I don't know this, right? It's that blockage in the mind. So they say, I know, even if they don't know. So how do you teach a group of people who always want to claim that they know when they don't know? And when you ask them, okay, if you know, explain it, they can't explain it. Right? Because again, it's the belief system. Because they believe that they know. They don't know, because if they knew, they'd be able to explain it. Right? Yesterday I was watching a video with my daughter, and you have these, and this is, like I said, everything they do to the black community will also affect their community. It may not be to the extent that it affects the black community, but it affects their community as well. Because I watched these two young white women, and the host of the show asked them, he says, what is 34 plus 66? And they couldn't answer. They couldn't answer, right? And I asked my daughter that. And she started guessing. I was like, no. I said, you remember, you got to use mental math. So teach, things like mental math we used to do in our head, right? That's a skill, a cognitive skill that has been declining in our people. So they can do mental math. And I said, when I watched these two young white females couldn't even add 34 plus 66. Listen, as bad as my memory is, I may not be able to do algebra or calculus, but when it comes to some of the basic math, subtraction, division, I still don't know how to do that. It may take me a little while to think about it. I can't just give it to you, like that immediately, right? But to see that within young people, young white people too. And that's another thing. White people tend to forget that there's a large section of white people in America that are poor, that are the working class, that are the working poor. Like I said, if you're white, you watch my video, go and get this book called White Trash by Nancy. I keep forgetting her Nancy. Her name ISEEN something like that, But anyway, I keep forgetting. But don't worry. When I listen to the book long enough, I'll remember, right? Just like I remember, Nia Farahi, The Battle for Our Brain, and also who's the other author? The Pentagon Brain. I forgot her name too. But anyway, there's a book called The Pentagon Brain. You guys go get that book also. The Pentagon Brain and The Battle for Our Minds. But yeah, the decline of people's cognitive ability, and it is perpetrated particularly within the black community first, because this is how when I talk about the black community is used as a testing ground for a lot of things, also a training ground for also engaging in and perfecting cognitive warfare. And we tend not to want to understand these things, right? So we join these churches, and many people don't understand that a lot of these people that go into these churches, right, and how the black churches in particular have been infiltrated by white supremacists and white supremacy, right? Because what happened with the far right, the far religious right, what they said is that they were going to infiltrate the black churches and get them to vote for their agenda, right? Not for the agenda of black people and the black people who goes into these churches, but for the agenda of white people, the far right, the far religious right, right? And see, black people are more religious than they are, but they are more radicalized in terms of their religious belief. They are more the end of the world, hell and damnation, the take up arms, let's go and blow up an abortion clinic, that sort of thing. Let's go kill doctors who perform abortion, all the other stuff. This is using the sirens. I'm not saying to do that. I'm just saying what they have done. When you look at the people who are doing these things, these are the far religious right, the white far religious right, the extremists, the white extremists. See, when they label us as black extremists, it's not because we committed any act of violence. No, it's because, we have that consciousness, that African consciousness that they don't want us to have, right? So they say we are black extremists. Okay, when has any of the Black Panther member lynched any white person? Right, but you see the KKK have been lynching black people since forever. Still do it today. Even though they're in police uniform. They don't call them white extremist group. Matter of fact, they changed the name from the KKK to what? White nationalists. Right? You know what I'm saying? There was a black man who was recently found hanging from a tree on a golf course. And of course, there's always no foul play, right? Like I said, black people, we don't hang, we don't do that. Particularly not on no damn tree. All right? It's built into our DNA not to do those things. When I talk about epigenetics, right? Black people, we don't hang ourselves from trees. And you always notice how these police department, these coroners talk about, no foul play. But you guys can go and read about how there's a book also called Police Coroner, how they support and engage in white supremacy, right? Because this is how they cover up the mass murders of black people by the hands of police officers, right? And how they lie. There was the case with Ashata Shakur that they tried to charge her with killing a police officer, but she did. She had her hands up when they shot her, so there's no way she could have shot at the police officer, right? And even though that was proven, they still tried to prosecute her for that. So come on now. There's a history that we want to ignore. There's a history that we want to deny, right? There's a history in the things that they do, all right? There's a history of that. So we tend not to look at it. We tend not to realize what's going on. We tend not to want to. Here's the thing: we tend not to want to believe when victims of white supremacy talk about their experience. Right? But we want to believe in Jesus, though, right? we want to believe in this God, right? But if a family member come and tell you, like, listen, I've been stalking such about white supremacy, the first thing that come out of their mouth is that, what makes you so important? Right? That's what I said. If Jesus was to ever come back, it'd be the Negropeans that be bringing them right to Caesar, right to the Romans. Right? Because ultimately, they really don't believe what they claim to understand. What they claim to believe in, not understand, but what they claim to believe in. They really don't believe in. Right? And how can you tell? Because again, for us, religious belief system is more of a cultural thing, right? It's more of it let us say we believe because we've been brought up by it. It's part of our culture now. We have our friends and the friendship that we develop. Okay, this is what they do. Like I said, don't stop. We need to stop falling for this bullshit. Open up our eyes and realize what's going on. Okay. I know. I see the. Listen, I noticed the slight targeting. All right. As soon as the MTA people come over here, the MTA, what do they call them? The bus monitors or the transit monitors. So it must be a bus coming. All right. Let's see if my car works. Because like I said, I know I got money on it. I know I got money on there. They will attempt to look. What he did? She's looking at them and they, look at the hand signals, look at the fingers. Look. Right? This is what they do. When I talk about how they look at it, picture this nose, look. When I talk about how they manipulate the payment system, why you keep looking over here for, man? Next time you look over here, I'm gonna wave to him. You're looking over at me, I'm gonna wave to him. But yeah, this is what they do. Watch. Look how they move. Look how they move. So again, I talk about this, and you go and listen to Catherine Fitz and also Whitney Webb, and they talk about how this is exactly what they do, how they can manipulate you, how they can manipulate the system, because these digital payment schemes that they come up with is also not only for control, but is also to, manipulate the system to try to set you up for crimes and shit like that. Right? That's what they do. Wow, this bus is packed.
Sorry.
This bus is crowded. But I gotta get on it. So she been standing there all this time and put anything in her mouth. And again, hold up the rest of the buses.
Somebody's getting off. Somebody's getting off. Okay.
You got to get out the way, ma'am. Get out the way, please, so somebody can get off, please.
Yeah, what we gonna do?
You
Right,
standing in the way.
We gonna back up. So
You
we can get
standing in
off.
the
Just
way.
back up.
Jeez, like, come on. Like, it's crazy. Look at this woman. She wants to get on the bus so damn bad that she willing to knock people over just to get on the damn bus. Come on. Only in the black community see shit like this, man. Let's see now. Oh, shit. They want you to keep looking at
Can
me.
you guys move it back, please? Move it back.
And I had just missed the bus before too. It wasn't. You see, here's the thing. They wasn't over here when the other bus was coming in there. Sure, go ahead, man.
Si no traes comprobante, te das que no. En ese estado,
Oh, there's another bus coming out.
y aquí pues si ya lo agarraste.
All right, yeah. I'll wait for the other bus. You see what I'm saying? Now, when the other bus was there in front, that came when I got off the other bus. They didn't come over here. They was not over here. look at her. The hand signal. Palm fixation. You know how they try to get away with it, right? She's literally hitting her chest, her breast, look, feeling over herself. I tell you, the shit that they do. Always scheming, right? Always scheming. That's what they do. Working together with the New York Predator Department to always scheme. Now, what is he doing? What she did? She did the fist down. No, the fist up, baby. Fist will never be down. Yeah. Look at her. Look. Hilarious. That's a limited. That's the local. The one behind is limited. Yeah, it's funny, right? Because again, you see, there's 3 buses, right? They get on there. Right, what happened to the other buses? you would think that there would be one for each bus, right? I mean, that would be the That would be the smart thing to do. Driving the dollar van, puffing his mouth. He's looking at me, puffing his mouth. Right? There you go. Thank you. See, that's a smart bus driver right there. The other, like I said, the other one, they all work in tandem. They crowd up the bus because again, go ahead, man. No, you gotta go because you got the stroller. All right. Yeah, ladies. Come on, ladies, come on.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Thank you, brothers. Change in the bus. See, this is what I'm talking about. I gotta go check my car.